Listen carefully, this medium has a message. Will you believe it? Here again, John Hockenberry.
Before my mother passed, I really have no interest in psychics. When my mother, I knew she was going to die, I was afraid. And after she died, I was still afraid.
Pam Pasica is a 45-year-old medical office manager in Long Island, New York. She lost a brother 5 years ago, but it was the recent death of her mother to cancer that has her desperate for some sort of message. A message that these people have continued, that they have gone on in some other world. And that's why she's decided to be part of a group reading with medium John Edward.
I'm just hoping that it turns out to be a good night, but I know that if I don't get something, I know that someone else will, because I know that he's really meant to help people.
So the most important thing to do is to be open-minded, to be objective, yet remain skeptical. Because to remain skeptical means that you're thinking about what's coming through.
Pam is one of 13 people here tonight.
Now, who had the alcohol problem?
My mother.
She waits anxiously through hours of other readings like this couple's.
What happened behind the stove in the kitchen?
Oh, my God. She was drinking, and she turned on the stove, and it blew up and knocked her across the room.
Until finally, John Edward has a message for her.
Who's the Patty, the PA name?
My mother's name is Pearl.
Pearl? She crossed over? Okay. And somebody there had lung or breast cancer?
My mom had lung cancer.
She was misdiagnosed? Correct? Okay. She told me to acknowledge the sun, the sun, the sun.
My brother died.
July must have a meaning for you also.
Yes.
Okay. Because they're making July a huge month.
It's a very big month.
Like for 3 reasons. 3
of us were born in July, and the one died on July 4th, and July 4th was the day that we always celebrated our birthdays, and that's the day he died.
What's the upstairs?
She lived downstairs, I lived upstairs.
You were upstairs? Did you take her upstairs?
We were trying to when she couldn't walk anymore.
Okay. She's also making me feel like a big deal for your mother was having to get from the bed to go to the bathroom.
Oh, God, yes.
Was she constantly wearing the yellow with like the terry cloth robe?
No.
Okay, I might be wrong with the color, but there's a specific robe or house dress that I'm supposed to be acknowledging that I feel like it was what made her comfortable, and that's why she wore this. Something that you would have had after she passed that you were smelling to connect with her.
Yes. At the moment of the readings, I was in shock. I was absorbing it. I was numb. There were things that John Edwards said through the reading that no one knew these things, and I can't but not believe. There's just no way that there's any doubt in my mind.
At first sight, it sure does look like they're doing something out of the ordinary.
Joe Nickel is a member of PsyCops, the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal. He says he's a skeptic, and he's been investigating the spiritual world for 25 years. He says he's seen every trick in the trade. Nickel says the modern psychic movement is the same old dog, just with new tricks. That now modern mediums like John Edward use a technique called cold reading.
Trick number 1 is talk very, very fast.
What's coming through is I'm getting the feeling of an older male who's crossed over. This person is telling me to acknowledge himself as being...
Trick number 2 is say lots of things.
Now, he's pointing to his head, so something had to affect the mind or the head from what he's showing me. He's also making me feel like there's some type of connection to either 16, either he was 16, or the 16th of a month has some type of connection.
Trick number 3 is don't do number 2. Don't say a lot of things. Use questions. Ask questions. Do you have a sister?
She's telling me to talk about sister, sister, sister. So is there a sister who's here, or is there a sister who's living?
We've seen that people will go away from a session like this saying, you know, this guy's incredible. He never met me, couldn't have known anything about me. He knew my mother's name was Mary. He knew she was dead. Let's know what happened. What happened is he simply asked a question, who's Mary? And you filled in the answers. I mean, are the dead so really unable to communicate that all they can do is somehow signal to us that it's a J?
Well, some of this... They're dead.
Well, they are.
We showed Nickel Edward's seemingly impressive reading with Pam.
July must have a meaning for you also.
Yes.
Okay. Because they're making July a huge month.
It's a very big month.
July's a big month, okay. He says 2 people died. Well, no, but...
If he had told us a lot of this all in one step, this would be much more impressive. But it's done incrementally so that at any point that he's wrong, if July isn't a hit, you can just gently back off and go in another direction. July will be forgotten.
Well, you can't fail him for getting a B when he could have gotten an A.
Everybody has some connection probably to July, even if it's nothing more than just remembering a fond July 4th.
Well, July's not a big month for me. I mean, it's a 1 out of 12 chance.
Right, but he's missing on other things. So you can't just let him have a freebie when he gets one right and then say, yeah, but the other misses don't matter.
All right, let's keep going.
Did you take her upstairs?
We were trying to when she couldn't walk anymore.
Okay. She's also making me feel like a big deal for your mother was having to get from the bed to go to the bathroom.
Oh, God.
He's talking about the relationship of someone who's cared for a parent who's dying. You can count on certain things, stress, difficulty, feelings of guilt, all of this.
Going to the bathroom.
Going to the bathroom. These things are just inherent in the situation.
But what about this reading? Remember Jack, the guy who was a police officer? John Edwards somehow got that fact right.
They're also talking about the cop. Who wore the badge, or who's the person who's the cop?
I am.
There's another female who's showing up on the same level as Mom. That's how this is being shown. Who had the lung cancer?
Mother.
Your mom.
My mom.
Okay.
The only thing out of that whole session that was said that looked anything like a hit to me was the cop.
The lung cancer.
Yeah, but...
That was pretty good.
Yes, but keep in mind that if we ask almost anyone we know, do you know someone who died of lung cancer?
What's going on that guy's face as he's, you know, rapid fire giving him this information, asking these questions?
Right. He's trying to fit it to something that he knows. And John Edward is making him feel like if he doesn't meet his burden to supply this, it's his fault.
We also wondered if this was method or magic. So we sat down with John Edward and showed him our videotape of the night's group reading.
Did she tell me 5 in the family?
No.
She's telling me yes. How many kids did she have?
4.
Okay, then she had a miscarry or lose a child, but she's telling me that there's 5.
You're so authoritative. The confidence that you have up there, it's almost as though he's trying to help you out.
I don't know if he's trying to help me out.
It seems like he's a little bit on the spot to say, yeah, you're right, I have 5 kids, even if it's only 4. Do people want you to be right?
I would think that people want this to be true, but I also know that people are intelligent enough to recognize what is or what isn't their family. You know, it's not like I'm saying to people, there's a lovely energy standing behind you, and they're sending you a lot of love and a lot of peace and a lot of light. You know, it's like, I believe it's this, I feel like it's this, I think there's this connection.
But during the 4 often tedious hours of this group reading, we saw many, many moments of non-connections, what looked like misses to us. Like this.
When he passed, was there a parade that they acknowledged him? Or was there some type of banner that he would have been part of, or some type of connection that he would have been acknowledged with?
No.
And this.
But your mom's not passed.
No.
This is a mother that they're telling me to acknowledge. Unless there's a mother-in-law who's passed.
No.
Younger male.
And this.
Or did a grandson have a child after she passed?
No.
I would hope if my grandmother contacted me that we wouldn't be playing some game of charades or 20 questions. I would hope that she would have something meaningful to say to me.
Are you divorced twice?
No.
Okay, she's acknowledging that there have been 2. My feeling was to leave it with you, which would mean that there have been 2 major relationships that have separated.
Someone could also look at that and say it's just a fishing expedition.
Oh, there's no fishing. I'm very clear on the fact I tell people all the time I am not 100%. I could totally misinterpret. And I don't want people coming to me thinking that they sit opposite me and boom, you know, it's like dial the dead. They're going to get who they want. They're going to say what they want to hear, and all. It doesn't happen like that at all.
No, it doesn't. And if we expected a dramatic Sixth Sense moment, like a dead person revealing who killed them, this is the closest we got.
Okay, now not to get too more